Hi guys, and welcome back to Rich Girl Energy Podcast. I'm your host Priyanka, and this is episode 9 of my podcast. Today's episode is called Becoming a Woman Who Receives. This episode has been broken down into 5 different chapters, so obviously according to whichever chapter you want to watch and listen to, feel free to skip to that one. I'm going to be starting off with chapter 1, which is called Why Receiving Feels Unnatural at First. Receiving might sound soft, effortless and feminine, however, it can actually feel very uncomfortable for a lot of women. Not because they don't want good things, but because they're not comfortable or used to good things landing. From a young age, a lot of us have been told to give to other people and be there for other people, and we were praised for being selfless, accommodating and kind, but we were never really told how to receive without feeling guilty. You were praised for giving, for being dependable, and for holding everything together. So now when people are trying to support you or be there for you, you don't want to take it. This definitely relates to me because I'm the type of person that will sit by myself, do everything by myself, and I feel like I don't need anyone there. I'm independent or even hyper independent to the point where I just don't feel the need for anyone to help me. I have been working on this and learning about this to get myself to a place where I can actually ask for help and have people help me, which I have gotten better, but there's also obviously a long way to go. A lot of the time when someone compliments you, you might just deflect what they just said. When an opportunity comes your way, you question it. Receiving can feel very vulnerable because it means that you need to understand your self-worth and have self-belief. The woman who learns to receive understands something powerful. She doesn't have to tire herself out in order to deserve what aligns with her. She doesn't have to chase what is meant for her. She doesn't need to overgive in order to secure love. This is self-worth in action. Now I'm going to be moving on to chapter 2, which is called Overgiving is a Defense Mechanism. When you overgive, you can feel kind, you can feel strong, you can feel productive, but often it's actually a way of protecting yourself. If you overgive, you're in control. If you are hyper independent or you overfunction, you don't have to depend on anyone else. And for the longest time, that was me. I was literally like, I don't need anyone to do anything for me because I can do it myself. Obviously the self-belief is there, but there are times where you're going to have to let people in and allow things to happen. For me, if I'm able to do everything myself, it means that no one's going to disappoint me or no one's going to do something in a way that I don't want them to do it, which obviously I am trying to work on. But if you're consistently being the caregiver, that is imbalance. It starts to cause exhaustion, resentment. You silently create these expectations. When you aren't allowing yourself to receive, you're putting out the energy that you don't need help. People will stop offering the help and support that you may have actually liked. The woman that learns to receive is a woman who understands balance. She doesn't stop being independent, but she allows the support to exist and be there for her. She allows other people to plan and to invest. She knows that receiving doesn't require compensation. It requires openness, and that requires courage. Now I'm going to be moving on to chapter 3, which is called Receiving Love Without Sabotaging It. I feel like receiving love is one of the hardest things that you can understand and master. I'm saying this because it's easy to chase love, it's easy to prove yourself to love, and it's easy to overextend to love. But can you actually receive love calmly? Can you accept consistency? A lot of women want consistency, but then they question it. A lot of women want stability, but then they get bored of it. A lot of women want reassurance, but then they're questioning it. That is because chaos feels more familiar than peace. Peace requires your nervous system to be regulated. A woman that receives love doesn't chase it. She allows it to build. She doesn't have to overanalyze anything. She doesn't have to test loyalty. She knows and understands that healthy love is stable and steady, and that will only exist without you sabotaging it. Now I'm going to be moving on to chapter 4, which is called Receiving Abundance and Opportunity. Receiving isn't just emotional. It's about visibility, opportunities, growth. When good things happen, do you shrink? Because this is actually something I was thinking about, where who I was 4 or 5 years ago was obviously a completely different person. Over that time you grow, you heal, you learn, and there are times where I think about what I'm doing now and how much I've achieved, and I feel like the past me would have never been able to accept it or take it. So sometimes I do sit here and think, was that me that did it? Obviously it is. Trying to believe and understand that that is me, sometimes obviously it does hit me and it's like, but you in the past could have never done that, but that was me in the past. That's not who I am now. So I feel like a lot of the time you can shrink yourself thinking you're not as good as you are. Do you minimize your success? Do you downplay your achievements? Receiving abundance requires self-belief. You need to actually believe in yourself and know that you can do what you're doing, it means you have to sit in rooms without shrinking yourself. You'll be sat at a table and you need to know you deserve to be at that table. The woman who receives abundance knows that she attracts what she is aligned with. And because she has that self-belief and trust in herself, she knows abundance feels natural and it isn't an accident. And now finally, I'm going to be moving on to chapter 5, which is called The Power of Allowing Life to Meet You Halfway. Allowing is something that no one really thinks about, but it's actually a form of power. When you allow, you are being grounded. You still do what you need to do. You show up for yourself, but you stop forcing. You stop trying to work out the outcome. You stop trying to micromanage. You stop tiring yourself out. You let life meet you halfway. You start to see how people really are. You don't have to chase any of this. You align with it all. Becoming a woman who receives doesn't mean that you stop building your life. You build your life. You stop building it from survival. You build from trust, calm, and worth. And when you start to shift into that energy, everything feels lighter and feels like it's in the right place. Know that everything is working out the way it needs to. Not because life is perfect, but because you're operating from belief. You know yourself and you know your worth. Thank you guys for watching and listening to this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in my next episode. Mwah!